Are you ready for some football? Well, the Seahawks season officially kicks off this Sunday against the Denver Broncos, and Terry Hollimon is here to chat about where the Seahawks stand preseason play and what we can look forward to in week one. Hi, my friends.
Hey.
Did you like that? I sounded like the guy on the Ready for the Football thing, huh?
You did. You sounded like Monday Night Football. You know. Hey, you're ready.
It's my other job.
Yeah.
Okay, seriously, I think that we need to just start with an overall look. Overall thoughts coming out of preseason.
I mean, this is a whole new situation. We have an entirely new football coaching staff. Pete Carroll and his staff is gone. We have to start over from scratch. It's going to be a new environment, a new team. A lot of the same old guys are going to be here, but there's going to be a new philosophy, a new way of doing things.
It's got to be hard for the guys. I mean, anything, Coach Carroll leaving anything's going to be hard.
Yeah.
But it's going to be hard to adapt to a new boss.
Well, there's a lot of new things to adjust to. Again, we've had Pete Carroll here for 14th season. He was such an easygoing guy, the Zen master, positive spin on everything. He was the oldest coach in the NFL, and we go from the oldest coach in the NFL to now the youngest coach in the NFL.
All right, we'll get to that guy in a second. But first, let's talk about roster surprises. D. Erskine is out. Artie Burns vanishes. And then no room for George Holani.
Yeah. You talk about D. Eskridge. He was a guy that the Seahawks had a lot of hope for. He had a lot of promise when we drafted him a few years back. But his problem was he didn't get a chance to get on the field, whether it was through injuries the first couple of seasons. Last season, he was, suspended for the first 6 games of the year. And unfortunately for him and the Seahawks, he had a really good preseason. The last game, he scored a touchdown, and he didn't make the cut. It was just tough to get him on the field. You look at some of the other young guys that didn't make the team. You talk about George Holani. I think they brought him back on the practice squad, but these were guys that were undrafted free agents that were really trying to make the team in the preseason.
And from what I understand and all my extensive knowledge of this, he is on the practice squad.
Yeah, he did make it to the practice squad, so he's not active, but if something happens to one of our top 3 running backs, we have the ability to pull him off the practice squad, put him in the game. So, yeah, he's a guy that came back. You talk about Artie Burns. He was another veteran guy that they actually cut.
Okay.
And then what they did is they made a prearranged thing that they do in the NFL. They can cut veteran guys and then bring them back immediately, which opens up a roster spot for somebody else to be on the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so they brought him back and put him on the practice squad.
So are they done making moves now, or?
I think for now they're done. They have the team that they want to work with going into the season. As the season progresses and maybe we see some things that aren't working or some guys are getting injured or they need some depth at other positions, then they'll bring in some other people. Okay,
speaking of injuries, who is injured and how's it going to impact the start of the season?
The big one that people are talking about is Uchenna Nwosu. He suffered a knee injury in the last preseason game. It's a sprained MCL is what they're saying. They don't know how long he's going to be out, but they didn't put him on the injury reserve, which means he would have had to sit out for at least 4 games.
Okay.
So they kept him as an active roster guy. So they expect him to be back pretty soon. They expect him to be back in the month of September, if not game 1. He's still listed as the number 1 guy on the depth chart.
Okay.
So he's the guy, I think. And then you look at another guy, the offensive tackle, Abe Lucas.
Yeah.
He's another guy that out of Washington State University a couple years ago. Seahawks had a lot of promise, a lot of faith in this guy. He's had a little trouble getting on the field with injuries the last couple of seasons. So, again, he's another guy that they hope to have back in the first 4 games.
Okay. Best of luck to both of them.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the coaching team now, or the coaching staff and everything. Because I've heard, yes, it's very different. We also have a coach who's very young.
Yes.
And I guess he eats, sleeps, breathes football.
Yeah, he's a prodigy. He's a savant when it comes to football. We brought him in from the Baltimore Ravens, where he was the defensive coordinator. He worked at Michigan, where he did the same job, and he was very successful at both places. Last season at Baltimore, he crafted one of the best defenses in the National Football League. And again, he's thought of as one of the young geniuses in the game of football right now. Seahawks were lucky to get him in here. We'll see what he's able to do. But again, he's 37 years old. He's barely older than a lot of the guys he's coaching. So, it's going to be interesting to see how this works out. I have a lot of faith in him.
Okay, well, that's good. If you do, then I do. Because everything you say, I trust. So that's good, because I know so much about this sport. Okay, let's look ahead to the Denver Broncos.
Okay. The Denver Broncos are a team that are coming off a really rough season, and I think they're going to have another rough season heading forward. Unfortunately for them, they bought in on Russell Wilson really big time. So they mortgaged their entire franchise on Russell, and Russell now plays for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They actually did not like Russell so much in Denver that they paid $38 million for him to leave.
Oh, so you know it's not good when they're like, yeah, we're going to pay you to go.
Yeah, we're good.
Just don't let the doorknob hit you on them.
Exactly.
You know
exactly.
Where the good Lord split you.
Exactly. So they had to start with a new quarterback. And anytime you're starting over with a brand new quarterback, it's going to be tough. And when particularly you're starting with a rookie quarterback, it's even tougher. And so now the Denver Broncos have rookie quarterback Bo Nix. Those who have followed the Pac-12, which is not really the conference anymore, last season, have seen Bo Nix play. For the University of Oregon, he was one of the finalists for the Heisman. He was one of the top quarterbacks in the conference, but he is still a rookie quarterback, and he's going to be leading this Denver Broncos team into Lumen Field this weekend, and it's going to be tough sledding for them. They have some tough sledding when it comes to the wide receiver and offensive positions, and defensively they're struggling. So I think the Seahawks fare well against the Broncos.
All right. It is so good to be back with you in the Hawk Zone again.
Good.
I love spending my time here with you, and I always learn so much, and I thank you for filling in the pieces, because there are a lot of pieces I need to pick up, but I appreciate you.
Of course. I'm looking forward to this season. The Hawks are going to do better than people expect. I'm telling you now. You heard it here first. Yes.
All right. Well, don't forget to buy your tickets for the Cult at Muckleshoot Casino Resort, formerly known as Death Cult. The British post-punk band is playing Monday, September 23rd. Visit the website on your screen for ticket info. That'll be fun.
This portion of New Day Northwest is sponsored by Muckleshoot Casino Resort.